Max, I wanted to ask you about this consolidation in the SSPs and sort of what you're seeing, uh, the good, bad aspects of that. And as you look at the supply side, what are you looking for? And what are you looking for, particularly from SSPs?
Yeah, the consolidation I think has been happening for a little while. It's definitely accelerated recently, and we've had a vision for a while of really wanting to strike strong relationships with exchanges. And in order to do that, we've been focused on consolidating those relationships to have more meetings, more in-depth meetings, to get greater insight to what's going on in the landscape, having more interesting kind of innovation conversations. Um, so it's been a very top of mind one, and I think what we're really looking for is how to better engage with publishers that we do business with on the TV side or a broader digital side, and how can we better activate it programmatically.
So, what are the steps in doing things better?
It really depends on the lens, I would say. There are operational aspects that are very important on how we set up campaigns in the platforms, to make sure that we have the right tools and processes to find the right path to a publisher, that aligns either with the brand or the agency or kind of GroupM in a broader sense. And then there's the higher level strategic aspects or transparency aspects around understanding the different costs around the chain and educating around that for our clients.
What do you think some best use cases for publishers in choosing an SSP?
It's a good question. I think we've had a lot more under the hood conversations with publishers than we have in the past, which for me has been really interesting. It's a lot of deeper understanding of who they work with, why they work with certain exchanges, and also how their inventory is set up and prioritized in their ad server. So we can really get on the same page of how they view things, how we view things, so we can come to one, a mutual understanding, and then something that works well for both our brands and the publishers. In terms of kind of SSP selection, I think it's always informing who our preferred ones might be or where we've seen kind of success. But similar to a DSP selection on a buyer side, there are a lot of aspects that are very specific to buyers that we wouldn't ever overstep to kind of push a publisher in a spot that doesn't make sense for them holistically, because there are a lot of good options out there still.
So, at GroupM, tell us a little bit about what your team is doing, some innovation that's going on, and meeting the expectations of your clients.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it definitely varies by client. We kind of do things in an aggregate, holistic view as well as a very client-driven view. We have a wide spectrum of clients and different levels of interest of how in-depth they want to get in the weeds of programmatic and supply path transparency, and optimization. So what we're doing is a lot of conversations and education with both publishers and exchanges and measurement companies, and a lot of in-depth log level analytics to surface what's going on, allow our clients and internal stakeholders to understand why certain things are occurring, what these certain costs mean. And then what we're doing is a lot of A/B testing to kind of see if our conceptual thoughts or ideas actually prove themselves out in reality and what that means potentially to a client's dollar that they're spending.
And Max, finally, what are some of your hopes about the supply side and how that's going to evolve to make your work more efficient?
My hope is really a lot of the, I guess, innovation also comes from the demand side partners and the platforms that we buy. I think a lot of the challenges we've had is the ability to really kind of customize rules from a buy side in order to align with our vision of what we discuss with our exchanges and publishers. And DSPs have made a lot of progress in this kind of path, but it's a big undertaking. And what we can really kind of hope or strive for is that we can build much more strategic conversations with publishers and exchanges, but make sure it's still operationally efficient for us to actually turn those into a reality on the buy side and for our clients. So we don't have a trade-off of a lot of extra inefficient work in order to get the right path to an inventory.